And social media would certainly lead you to believe that. There's a whole new meme out there called "Nothing Ever Happens." And it seems to be the belief that whether it's tariffs, COVID, geopolitical events, none of it matters. And the fact that it's arising now strikes me as a really interesting moment. It sadly reminds me of what the turkey might say around the beginning of November. Nothing ever happens. And I think that's the risk that not only are investors complacent, but I sense that they're acting with impunity. And I see this in several dimensions where investors don't believe that there will ever be punishment, that there is now no downside to trading.
What do you mean by that, though? Is it because the Fed steps in? Is it because the U.S. government steps in? What's the put?
So it's a combination of puts. One is you've had repeated success where the markets have only gone up in their minds for the last 10, 15 years. You have policymaker puts on both the fiscal and monetary policy side. You also have this belief that the regime politically is not particularly willing to go against the market. In fact, just the opposite. So you had the taco trade, and you have a sense that while we may skirt the rules, there will never be any punishment for doing so.
You know, it's interesting, Peter, I keep thinking about this too. And I have to say, we know tariffs are going to be higher, right? On some level. We know supply chains are continuing to be rebuilt and brought back here. If immigration and the clampdown on immigration continues, less workers, that's going to have a cost. It does sound like there are a lot of factors that go into the U.S. economic equation that there's a good chance they're going to be different going forward.
They will be, but one of the things we know is that when we look at risks, if they are abstract to us, we will find ways to avoid them. And so what I sense is that tariffs, just like COVID, still remain abstract. People haven't experienced the consequences. And so until we get that, we can find all of these reasons to ignore it. But having said that, what is so interesting about this moment is that people are looking at these risks in the eye and laughing at them. There's a belligerent response to them that they're not going to matter, move on.
Peter, you joined us in March, and one answer that you gave to a question that we had for you really ricocheted around. A lot of people ended up watching the clip on YouTube. You said there was a clear possibility that the U.S. becomes uninvestable under President Trump. Is it more likely now or less likely now than it was to you back in March?
It's less likely now, but I know that from a particularly foreign investor perspective, there is still apprehension about how welcome they and their money are here. And if I look at what happens in immigration and trade, we have started to see clear controls. And so we know that our policies related to labor, goods, and services and capital all move as one. And so I think that there is still concern, and I think appropriately so, around what happens to capital flows in all of this.